NorCal Kellogg here. Welcome back to the channel. If you're not a subscriber yet, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notification, and you'll always know when I'm on YouTube talking about fishing. And that's what we're gonna do right now. Guess what we're gonna talk about? Check that out right there. That's right. We are gonna talk about salmon fishing. It is time for our weekly salmon fishing report. I am gonna take you through all the bites from the ocean right up to Redding. I'm gonna tell you where it's hot. I'm gonna tell you where it's not. And I'm gonna tell you where the action's gonna happen next and when, and my prediction's been pretty accurate so far. So hang on to your pants, open your ears. We are gonna talk salmon fishing. Before I do that, I wanna make you aware of a killer offer, okay? This is my salmon striper halibut rod. You know the story if you watch the channel. Took me 3 years to design these rods. They are designed for our fisheries. They're great for trolling for river salmon, spinners, flatfish, stuff like that. They're great for striper trolling, striper bait fishing. And if you get out on the bay and you want to drift some live bait for halibut and stripers, this is the rod you want, okay? Well, this weekend, we are sweetening the deal for everybody that purchases one of these rods. We are gonna throw in a T50 flatfish. Now, that's not a flatfish, that's a quick fish, but very similar. We are gonna throw in a T50 flatfish, so you will be well armed when you go out chasing those salmon this fall. September, October, November. You're gonna have a lure to start out with. You're gonna have a great rod. You're gonna get the lure for free. You're gonna get free shipping on the rod. Get on over to fishhuntshoot.com, secure your rod now, and get your free flatfish because supplies won't last. This sale kicks into effect today, and it's gonna go until we are out of flatfish, and we don't have that many. So if you want a free flatfish with your rod, get on over there now, fishhuntshoot.com. Enough said, let's talk salmon fishing, and let's start off in the ocean. Look at these fish. These fish are absolutely huge. All these pictures are courtesy of the California Dawn Sport Fishing, Captain James Smith. The fish are big, they're bright, they're hard fighting. The ocean bite it's actually probably a little bit past its pinnacle. They're seeing the really big fish now. The numbers have backed off just a hair. You know, they're not getting easy limits anymore. They're not getting early limits anymore, but they are getting a lot of fish, and a lot of the fish are really big. You see those fish, you know, they stack up outside the Golden Gate, and they really start to bulk up the last 2 months out there before they hit the river systems. And that's exactly what you're seeing. You're seeing big predators out there now in the last days, last weeks of their life cycle in the ocean. They're putting on all that bulk, and they're getting ready to run up the system, and that is an exciting time to be out on the ocean. If you want a big ocean run king, get out there now because the action's going to start to slow down. They'll be catching fish into October, but it's starting to taper off in terms of numbers, but you're going to see that average size continue to increase. The time to get a 40 or 50 pounder outside the Golden Gate is typically somewhere in September or October, but you're not gonna get a lot of opportunities. You're not gonna get a lot of bites, but there are some very large fish out there at that time. Right now, it's a great mix between lots of fish and big fish. So if you wanna get your salmon on in the ocean, get on out there. Let's move in, let's move inland, okay? Benicia, a lot of angler interest out there, a lot of angler effort out there, but they're not catching a lot of fish yet. But hey, if you live in the area, you want to go out there, you want to have some fun with your friends, some camaraderie, get out there, throw spinners on the incoming tide, and you know, somebody's got to be there when the bite breaks loose, and it may as well be you. Let's move up the system to the Delta. Again, it's pretty slow for salmon in the Delta. Striper bite, trolling, really heating up. Good action. If you need to choose between stripers and salmon, go with the stripers right now. Or better yet, troll for the salmon on the middle of the incoming tide, troll for stripers at the ends of the tides, and that way you're at least going to take home some stripers for fish tacos, and you might bounce into a salmon, but the bite in the Delta just isn't there yet. There's fish passing through. Most of them are probably passing through at night, but hey, if you want to get one, again, get out there and troll for them because somebody's got to be there when the bite busts open. But realistically, probably looking at 3 to 4 weeks. That bite really gets popping out there in September, goes on into October. It can go much later than that. But when it really gets exciting out there, you know, Rio Vista and above, Walnut Grove, places like that, we're usually talking September. But arm yourself and be ready, because it's going to happen. Up the river another notch, metro area. Things are a little better. I'm hearing reports, not seeing a lot of pictures. I know there's jiggers out there at Discovery Park that are getting fish. Thing is with jigging, if you don't know how to do it right, you're going to snag a lot of fish. And even if you are doing it right, you're going to occasionally snag a fish. But there are salmon there, and there are some biters there. So if you're in the metro area, very worthwhile to get out there. You can fish from a boat, you can fish from a kayak, and you can definitely get into a salmon. Big news of the week in terms of salmon fishing is it was the August 1st marked the opener of the barge hole up there above Red Bluff. And that's always an exciting event. A bunch of boats get in there. There's always a bunch of salmon kegged up in there, a lot of chaos, a lot of laughs, a lot of fish are caught. And that's exactly what happened this August 1st. Everybody got into the fish. There were some big, beautiful fish caught, mostly on flatfish, some of them on roe, but there were a bunch of fish caught on that August 1st opener. And that just goes to show you how many fish have passed through the Delta and through the metro area. Those fish are moving up the line, and they're hitting that cold water there in the barge hole, and they're stopping there to rest. So there are salmon on the move. However, a lot of them are probably moving through the system at night right now. But hey, they're still going through. It's a king salmon. If you can get out there and catch one in Walnut Grove or in the metro area, why not? It's close to home. They're high quality fish this time of the year, and they put up a wonderful fight. So that's about the size of it. I expect things to get really exciting in September. There are a bunch of fish in the ocean. You're seeing them bulk up. They're getting ready to make the move inland, and you want to be there to intercept them when it happens. And I want to close this out with a little tutorial, okay? Let's talk about fishing quick fish or flatfish or the Brad's plugs, because you fish them all the same. And again, if you pick up one of my rods, you're going to be fishing with a free flatfish, a free T50. So in the Delta, you want to be running, and I talked about this last time, you want to be running your sliding weight rig or your three-way rig, fishing both the same. Bottom line is you're running your weight on a dropper right here. The dropper, lighter material than the main leader. That way if you tangle up or snag when you got a fish on, the sinker will snap off. Right here, I've got 65-pound braid. Right here, I've got 25-pound test P-Line CXX. You don't need fluorocarbon for salmon. They don't care. Right here, 12-pound CXX, so this will break away if you snag the bottom. That sinker is just running through a swivel right there, a swivel tipped with a snap. It can run up and down the line, then you put on a bead, then you put on another swivel, and that's where your leader runs from. Very simple. Showed that to you guys last time. Down here at the business end, you've got your snap, and that is attached to your plug. Could be a spinner too. Same exact rig. That leader there's about 40 inches long. Now, if you're going to troll this in the Delta or in the metro area, you want to wrap the bottom of that plug with sardine, okay? If you haven't done that, that can be a little intimidating. It's not that hard. Get some elastic thread, put some sardine on the bottom of the plug, test the plug aside of the boat. If you're getting the kicking action, you did it right. If you're not getting the swimming action, readjust things until you get the swimming action. You got it. Flesh side out on the sardine. And if you really want to give that a little added boost, put a little dollop of crawfish meat or a little bit of white prawn meat on top of that sardine, and it just gives it a little extra punch, okay? And you know, feel free to put fish scent on there as well, but definitely fresh or fresh frozen sardine, put that on there. Keep a good strip on there. You want the scent, you want them to get the taste of that when they grab the plug. Put that in the water, put the sinker down near the bottom, same as we talked about last time. You want a fairly sharp angle going down, so adjust your weight accordingly. You don't want it scoped way out there. You don't want it going straight down, but you want enough weight, so you're gonna thumb it down nice and slow if you're trolling the Delta until you feel the sinker hit, and you're gonna bring a crank a line up, and you're gonna put the rod in the holder. I like to troll with the current, or I like to zigzag down current because I want the plug approaching the fish from the front. I feel like a plug approaching the fish from behind is apt to spook them. Even a 30 or 40 pound salmon, he doesn't like stuff sneaking up behind him. I'm huge. I don't like stuff sneaking up behind me. I'm much more comfortable when I see stuff coming. Fish feel the same way. So that's my preferred strategy. If you're going down current, you're gonna have to troll a little faster, but the rod tip, and that's why it's important to have some play in your rod tip. Got that all wrapped up there. Your rod tip, it's gonna tell you that that plug is working, okay? If it's working good, it's working great, and all of a sudden it goes like that, guess what? You got a bunch of salad bar on your line. You gotta reel it in and clear that because you're not gonna get hit unless the plug is working. So remember that. As long as that tip is working, it means the plug is working and everything's okay. Okay, if the water gets shallower, you're watching the sonar, shorten up. If the water gets deeper, let out a little more line, okay? That's how you do it in the Delta, okay? If you're upriver, you're gonna be doing a technique called back trolling. Now, if you're qualified to navigate the river up there, you probably already know how to back troll a flatfish or back troll a plug. If you're going with a guide, here's the important things to know about back trolling a plug. And I've done this before on the channel, but I'll do it again because it's very important. You've paid to go out with a guide. The guide wants you to get a fish. What you're gonna do, the guide's gonna get the boat in the current and he's gonna use the kicker motor to keep the boat moving back slower than the current around the boat, but you're still moving backwards, okay? You're using the same exact rig I just described for trolling. You're gonna have a weight on there, you're gonna have a plug on there. You're gonna thumb it down until you feel that sinker hit the bottom. And you're gonna raise it up and you're gonna lower it. And you're gonna raise it up and you're gonna lower it. And every time you lower it, you're gonna feel it hit the bottom. Tap, 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 okay? If you don't raise it and lower it, the sinker's gonna find a place in the rocks, the boat's gonna come past it, you're gonna get tangled, everybody's gonna have to reel in, the guide's gonna have to motor up, and you aren't gonna have many friends on the boat. So, really what you're doing, you're pick the sinker up, set the sinker down. Pick the sinker up, set the sinker down. Pick the sinker up, set the sinker down, and what you're doing is you're walking that sinker right down the riverbed and that plug is behind it just swimming like that, okay? Now let's pretend you guys are a salmon. Salmon's facing into the current and he sees this flatfish coming and it's 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 all up in his face and he doesn't like that. So he grabs it. That's the idea. That's what you're trying to accomplish. Now when that happens, okay, and the same thing is true of Delta fishing. When that happens, fish is gonna grab and go, oh, I'm getting a bite. Okay, you have to fight every neuron in your body that is screaming, set the hook now. Don't do that. You'll miss the fish. 9 times out of 10, if you react right away, you will miss, and it's hard to do. You want to hold that rod, or if you're in a Delta and the rod's in a holder, you just want to let that bite develop. You want that fish on there. You want him gnawing on it. It's going to feel like he's been gnawing on that thing for an hour. It's been 3 seconds, okay? But that's how it's gonna feel. And you're gonna feel him pulling it down and down and down, and he's pulling and oh my gosh, you can't wait anymore. Thumb it hard on the set. I can't hard set it because I got that weight up there. It'll hit me in the forehead like a cannonball. Set it hard and don't do this. Don't do that. Set it hard and reel. Get into the reel because that fish, he may bolt at the boat at the first sting of the hook, okay? So one more time. Wait as long as you can on that hook set. You want that plug back in the fish's mouth. You want him really mauling it. Thumb it, big strong fish. He's holding onto that plug tight, okay? Thumb it, set it hard, and reel. And that's how you hook and land salmon when you're fishing a flatfish. If the rod's in the holder in a Delta, you don't touch that rod. The boat's moving. You don't touch that rod until it is clearly hooked up with the salmon. Then slide it out and start reeling, okay? Follow that advice and everybody's gonna be your friend. Everybody's gonna wanna be you because you're gonna turn the bites into hooked and landed salmon. I guarantee it. I'm out of here for now. This is kind of a long video, but I always like to give you guys some instruction with the report. River salmon fishing, it's a kick in the pants. Get out there and get after them. We have got some great days ahead. And get on over to fishhuntshoot.com. Get your rod and get your free flatfish. I'm Cal Kellogg. Thanks, guys.